Bonjour, merci de nous regarder en direct sur EBS pour notre point de presse quotidien. Nous sommes le vendredi 12 juin et nous avons, comme chaque jour, des annonces à vous faire. Firstly, I would like to address some words to the people of Slovakia who mourn after the stabbing attack at the school in the town of Rudki yesterday. We share your shock and grief about this tragedy. On behalf of the European Commission and President von der Leyen, I would like to express our condolences and sincere sympathies to the relatives and friends of the Deputy Director. He died in a selfless act of bravery while protecting his colleagues and students, saving their lives. We wish speedy recovery to the injured, and we express our heartfelt solidarity with the people of Slovakia. I now invite Peter to read you out the same message in Slovak.
Tieto slová sú pre ľudí na Slovensku o solidarite a spolupatričnosti Európskej únie. Rovnako ako vy, aj my sme šokovaní tragédiou vo Vrútkach, v mojom rodnom meste. Zdieľame váš smútok a bolesť. Dovolte mi v mene Európskej komisie, ale aj v mene Európskej služby pre vonkajšiu činnosť vyjadriť úprimnú sústrasť rodine, priateľom, kolegom, študentom, bývalým aj súčasným, pána profesora Jaroslava Budza. Bol aj mojím triednym učiteľom, učil nás matematiku a chémiu, ale jeho posledná lekcia bola z ľudskosti, o odvahe, nezištnosti a sebaobetovaní. Zaplatil za ňu svojim životom, ale zachránil životy iné. Za tomu patrí veľké uznanie a veľká vďaka. Česť jeho pamiatke. Zranenej pani riaditeľke, študentom a policajtom želám v mene Európskej únie skoré uzdravenie.
Thank you, Peter. Now let's move on. Let me share with you the President's agenda for next week. On Monday, President von der Leyen will meet Boris Johnson, Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, together with David Sassoli, President of the European Parliament, and Charles Michel, President of the European Council, via video conference for the EU-UK high-level conference. On Wednesday, the President will chair the meeting of the College of Commissioners as usual. On Thursday, the President will participate in the Eastern Partnership Leaders video conference. And finally, on Friday, the President will participate in the meeting of the European Council via video conference. J'appelle maintenant Tim pour une annonce sur deux consultations publiques que nous lançons aujourd'hui. Tim.
Bonjour, merci Eric. Aujourd'hui, la Commission lance deux consultations publiques pour rendre l'Europe plus verte. D'abord, une consultation publique sur sa future communication sur la vague de rénovation, en anglais, the Renovation Wave. La vague de rénovation fait partie du Pacte vert pour l'Europe et elle est dans notre plan de relance une des initiatives vertes qui peut à la fois générer de la croissance et des emplois à la sortie de la crise et soutenir une transition verte. Cette consultation va identifier des bons outils pour soutenir des projets de rénovation, tels que l'isolation des habitations privées, les systèmes de chauffage et de refroidissement, ou la production de l'énergie chez soi. La rénovation des bâtiments, qui sont responsables d'ailleurs pour 36% de nos émissions de gaz à effet de serre, nous aide à réduire notre usage de l'énergie et à faire diminuer nos factures. Quant au métier de la rénovation, il contribue de manière importante à l'économie et à l'emploi partout en Europe. La Commission a aussi lancé aujourd'hui une consultation publique sur la mise en place d'une norme européenne pour les obligations vertes. En anglais, encore une fois, the establishment of a green bond standard. Comme le vice-président exécutif Dombrovskis a dit, cette consultation vise à découvrir ce que l'Union européenne et ses États membres peuvent faire pour soutenir et encourager l'émergence de marchés des obligations vertes à grande échelle et de haute qualité. Cet exercice s'inscrit dans un cadre de mesures plus large, visant à dynamiser le secteur de la finance durable et à mobiliser les financements pour faire de la neutralité climatique en Europe d'ici 2050 une réalité, conformément au Pacte vert pour l'Europe. Et finalement, pendant que j'ai la parole, j'en profite pour signaler une chose sur l'agenda pour lundi. Lundi matin, la commissaire pour l'énergie, Kadri Simpson, va représenter la Commission au Conseil informel des ministres de l'énergie via visioconférence. Il y aura aussi une conférence de presse qui aura lieu en fin de matinée. Merci.
Pour ces annonces, comme vous pouvez le voir, la Commission garde le cap sur le pacte vert européen et sa mise en œuvre. I will now finish with today's video conferences. First, ministers of health are having a first exchange of views on the proposal put forward by the European Commission for a new reinforced EU health program called EU for Health. Commissioner Kyriakides will also inform them of the state of play on developing a coronavirus vaccine ahead of the presentation of the EU vaccine strategy next week, and on securing the production and distribution of the vaccine in the EU. Commissioner Kyriakides will take part in a press conference following this video conference at 2 p.m. Then this afternoon, Commissioner Breton will participate in the video conference of ministers responsible for internal market and industry. In particular, they will discuss the strengthening of strategic EU value chains. Voilà, cela conclut nos annonces pour aujourd'hui. Nous sommes prêts à prendre vos questions et je passe la parole à Christiane.
Merci beaucoup. Bonjour, Eric. Christian Kerr from the German Funke Media Group. My question concerns the Brexit summit on Monday. Could you tell us a little bit more about the meeting? What are the expectations of the president in the meeting? What is her intention? Does she now have an offer to Mr. Johnson to end the deadlock? Does she hope for a breakthrough, or is it to make pressure? And the second question, if you allow, the British government announced that the talks would now be intensified and that meetings would take place every week. Could you confirm this? Thank you.
Thank you, Christian. Let me just remind you that this EU-UK high-level meeting is a planned meeting. It is something which was foreseen in the withdrawal agreement, or in the political declaration, rather, and therefore it is a set piece in the ongoing talks with the United Kingdom. But I would pass the floor to Dan to give you more explanations on this.
Absolutely, thanks, Eric. Indeed, Christian, the aim of the high-level meeting on Monday is to take stock of the state of play of progress in the negotiations. It is outlined in the political declaration, so in itself nothing new. You mentioned the idea of intensification of negotiations with the UK, so indeed I can confirm that there will be negotiating rounds as of the end of June, and will take place every 2 to 3 weeks. We will publish very, very shortly, if not already online, an addendum to our terms of reference, which will give you more information exactly on the dates and on those talks itself. Of course, one point that I would like to make at this point is that the Commission's transparency policy regarding the debriefing and briefing of the European Parliament and of Member States continues and will continue throughout the negotiations as usual.
Thank you very much. Are there other questions for Dan on Brexit-related or UK-EU negotiation-related issues? Taking into account, of course, that at 1 we have a press conference by Vice President Šefčovič on the implementation of the withdrawal agreement. I see James has his hand raised. I suppose it is on this. Go ahead, James. You need to press the speak button, as the famous sentence goes.
There we go. Can you hear me now? It's the thing you're meant to say at that point. Yes. Dan, thanks. Could you tell us if the Commission President will be asking for a final answer on whether or not the transition period will be extended in the high-level meeting? Is this the last chance for any extension request to a transition period?
Thanks, James. I think, as you know, and as I've explained to you a number of times, in order to extend the transition period, a joint decision needs to be taken by the EU and the UK in the joint committee. That meeting is ongoing as we speak, and as Eric said, we have a press conference afterwards by Vice President Šefčovič. I wouldn't have anything else to add at this point.
We go to Lily, if it's on this subject.
Yes, thank you. Can you hear me, Eric?
We can. Go ahead, Lily.
My question is just about the logistics of Monday. Should we expect some kind of press conference?
Not confirm logistical details at this stage. Sorry, these details are still being worked out, but we will of course inform you once things have been clarified. Okay, I think there are no further questions on this, unless David, your question is on this, but we go to you in any case. David.
Yes, thank you, Eric. It's not on this, it's on migration and Greece. I'm sure that you have seen the press release of the IOM alarm over reports of pushbacks from Greece at EU border with Turkey. The statement today by the UNHCR on the same subject. I'm wondering if you have any reaction, and a more political question, if I may. Does the President still believe that Greece is the shield of the European Union? Thank you.
Bonjour David. Merci pour ta question. Je pense que notre position sur ces allégations sont bien connues. Je ne peux que répéter notre position, qui est que nous attendons à ce que les autorités grecques fassent pleine lumière sur ces questions, mènent une enquête et prennent les mesures nécessaires.
And to answer your second question on the President's position has not changed. She understands and supports the need for the European Union to deal with the complex issue of migration in a balanced way, which takes into account all of the dimensions. She has had ample opportunity to express this position, and there is nothing new in this regard today. Thank you. We will, I don't know if it's on this, if there are other questions for Adalbert, we will stay on that issue for the moment. I see Patricia, you have a question for Adalbert?
No, it's on the logistics for tomorrow speech of President von der Leyen.
Okay, we'll come back to you in a second. Nikolai, a question for Adalbert?
Yes, thank you. I don't know if you've also seen the statement by Amnesty International on what's happening on the Croat border. Apparently, a group of asylum seekers had been apprehended, beaten and tortured, with reports of multiple fractures, joint injuries, and collapsed lungs. And I was wondering if you could perhaps provide a statement on that, and whether or not the Commission intends to do anything about these ongoing allegations along that border. Thank you.
And thank you, Nikolai. We are of course aware of the report by Amnesty International. We are very concerned by the allegations of inhuman and degrading treatment of migrants and asylum seekers at the Croatian border with Bosnia and Herzegovina. As you know, European law provides that border guards must fully respect human dignity. Violence, humiliation, and degrading treatment of asylum seekers and migrants has no place in the EU, and it must be condemned. We are in close contact with the Croatian authorities. The Croatian authorities have committed to investigate allegations of mistreatment at their external borders, to monitor the situation closely, and to keep the Commission informed on the progress made. We are looking at these issues closely. We also intend to carry out a monitoring mission within the framework of the emergency assistance grant that Croatia benefits from, to ensure that the activities of the Croatian border guards remain fully compliant with the respect of fundamental rights. And of course, we expect allegations to be thoroughly investigated and that all necessary action will be taken.
Thank you. I see only Patricia's hand raised. No, I see Naomi, but I suppose we can move on now to another issue. So Patricia, to come back to your question on logistics, well, you will have to speak to the Italian authorities on the logistics themselves. What I can say is that I understand that the president is supposed to intervene via video conference in the course of tomorrow morning. And we will publish her statement to the meeting after her intervention. I hope this answers your question. Let us now move. Yes?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thanks,
It
Patricia.
does. Thank
Very
you.
good. Let us now move to Naomi.
Hi. I have a question about vaccine. So we've had a briefing about the plans to speed up and guarantee European supply of vaccines, and we were told that Britain would not be included in this initiative. And then this morning I'm made to understand that this was incorrect, and in fact Britain may in fact be part of this. So can we have clarity on that, please?
Naomi, I believe that a correction, you're right that this is an issue that was raised, but we immediately issued a correction, which you should have, I hope, received right after the end of the technical briefing that set the record straight on the UK's participation on this. So the UK can participate in the program, and we have issued a correction on this. I would ask you to contact Stefan bilaterally if you need more detail on this. All right, let me now move to Anna. Anna, I believe you continue to have issues with your microphone. I don't know if you have pressed speak. Yes, it seems to be working.
Can you hear me now?
We can.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
OK. Bonjour tout le monde. J'ai la question à Virginie concernant Soudan du Sud. Bon, voilà. Elle est là?
Anna.
Est-ce que Virginie est là?
Je te propose que tu poses ta question et nous allons voir comment on peut y répondre.
Tout d'abord, j'aurais voulu remercier pour hier parce que vous avez réagi sur ma question par écrit et ça c'est sauvé la situation. Donc maintenant, je vais continuer en anglais parce que Soudan du Sud, c'est le pays anglophone. Well, I have a question because I read the declaration of Mr. Borrell, but I couldn't really, I need detail how you see the situation on the ground, because do you still support the returns from displaced people from the camps to their villages? Or first, the governors should be appointed to resolve the problem of legal vacuum. So I would like to have this more detailed plan on how to apply this political declaration on the grounds in such a difficult situation of pandemic in South Sudan.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you for your kind comments about our response yesterday. I pass the floor to Virginie.
Good afternoon, and thank you for your question on the declaration that was issued indeed yesterday. It's a declaration by the High Representative Josep Borrell on behalf of the European Union, meaning that it's been agreed by all member states. In this declaration, we reaffirm very clearly that the people of South Sudan deserve lasting peace, and that we stand as European Union by them. In terms of, to respond more directly to your question on the protection of civilians and possible returns, I can't enter into the specifics at this stage. The situation is complex. You mentioned because of the COVID-19 pandemic, which certainly complicates the situation. But as we've said in the declaration, the high concern on all parts is because we continue to see widespread violence leading to a high number of fatalities, forced displacement, sexual and gender-based violence, and other human rights abuse. So this must stop. That's for sure. When it comes to return, in general, we have always said that in order to see returns for refugees, or in the case of South Sudan, mostly internally displaced persons, we have to create the condition for voluntary, safe, and sustainable, as well as dignified return. In terms of the governors, so more generally speaking, as you've seen in the declaration, we have called on the South Sudanese government and all relevant stakeholders to redouble efforts to proceed with the peace agreement and its implementation through political compromise, and to make sure that the violence stop. On the nomination of the governors, we have also said that a swift agreement and the completion of state governorships and nominations is absolutely vital. And this must include appropriate representation of women in the places. Then when it comes to how to proceed with this nomination in the context of the pandemic, we believe, it's clear that it's even more necessary because the pandemic needs an effort from the entire society. So these gaps in national and local governance system are hampering conflict resolution efforts and, more generally speaking, the governance of the country. I hope this answers the aspects of your questions.
That was a very comprehensive answer. Thank you very much, Virginie. Are there other foreign relations related questions for our team? I do not see any, so we can close that chapter and come back to other questions. Athanasios.
Thank you, Eric. It's a question about travel arrangements, and yes, we have heard the recommendations that you gave yesterday, but currently the situation is a little bit complicated. So people tell me, people who have traveled to Greece these days from European states, tell me that the conditions and the measures taken by the Greek authorities are not up to par. They are, let's say, the least I can say is that they have GDPR issues. People were transferred to a hotel for a 7-day quarantine while waiting for their test results to be announced. And finally, their test results were announced by the receptionist loudly and with no respect to personal data. And this happened apparently in many hotels in Athens. These people did not have any chance to contact anyone from the Greek authorities. They were their interlocutor was only the receptionist or other personnel of the hotels, and they all give the same story. Bad hotels in the center of Athens, little or no food, and expensive coffee from a coffee machine while waiting 2 or 3 days to get their results. So how do you comment on that?
Athanasios, we cannot comment on comments that have been made by people who have spoken to you. I understand that there may be issues on the ground, but we're certainly not going to start commenting on things which are simply relayed indirectly to us. So it would be important that we get more precise information on exactly what is happening, and then see what are the responsibilities of the member states in this request. It is clear that for the European Commission, the respect, in particular, of the privacy of personal data is very important, and we would expect all actors that deal with citizens' private data, including health data, to treat this data with a due respect for the need for confidentiality and privacy. On accommodation arrangements and other arrangements, at this stage, we cannot comment. So let me move to David.
Oui, merci Eric. J'aurais deux questions à propos de l'Italie. La première, c'est dans une interview ce matin, le Premier ministre Conte a annoncé, entre autres, qu'il va demander à Bruxelles de financer avec 1 milliard d'euros 1 million d'arbres. Alors, j'ai pris la calculette et ça fait 1 000 euros pour chaque arbre. Est-ce que c'est comme ça qu'il va marcher le Recovery Instrument et aussi les stratégies nationales, la ownership et tout ça. Deuxième question, toujours à propos de l'Italie, le décret relance. J'ai déjà posé de questions sur le secteur aérien, je n'ai pas eu de réponse pour l'instant. J'ai découvert qu'il y a un bonus vacances de plus ou moins 400 euros, ça dépend des familles, etc. Mais on ne peut pas utiliser ce bonus vacances avec les plateformes Internet. Donc, on ne peut pas utiliser le bonus vacances pour Booking, Airbnb et tout le reste, mais c'est juste réservé aux agences de voyage et des opérateurs touristiques. Je voulais savoir si c'est compatible avec le marché intérieur. Merci.
D'accord, j'appelle Viviane dans un premier temps pour ta question sur le plan, mais je ne suis pas sûr que nous soyons au courant de ces annonces. De manière générale, pour que nous puissions vous servir au mieux, je pense qu'il serait très utile que lorsque vous apprenez ce genre d'informations, lorsque vous êtes mis au courant ou que vous découvrez ce genre d'annonces, que vous nous contactiez un petit peu en amont, parce que comme vous le savez, nous ne pouvons pas réagir très souvent à chaud à l'ensemble des annonces qui peuvent être faites par l'un ou l'autre gouvernement en Europe. Nous travaillons sur base de décisions prises par les instances nationales et il nous faut généralement du temps pour pouvoir les analyser. Néanmoins, je pense que Viviane peut peut-être nous dire quelques mots sur la manière dont le plan de relance et de manière plus générale le pacte vert européen envisage les activités de reforestation.
Oui, merci beaucoup pour ça. En effet, nous sommes venus la Commission a adopté en mois de mai la nouvelle stratégie sur la biodiversité à l'Union européenne. Et là, on a mis comme un des objectifs aussi la lutte contre la déforestation, y inclut la plantation de 3 milliards d'arbres à l'Union européenne. Et évidemment, nous avons différents fonds qui sont prévus aussi pour... Ça, c'est quelque chose qui sera fait en coopération avec les pays membres. Et nous avons aussi des fonds prévus pour la biodiversité. Quand ça vient à la question spécifique sur le coût, là, je dois dire que nous n'avons pas ces calculations ici, mais c'est ce que tu dis concernant 1 000 euros pour un arbre semble effectivement quelque chose qui n'est pas, disons, des prix courants. Mais on va regarder toutes ces calculations et on va revenir vers toi.
Voilà, David, si je peux te demander de nous faire parvenir des informations plus précises sur l'annonce à laquelle tu faisais référence, ça nous aidera à répondre à ta question. Sur les propositions ou la suggestion italienne sur le secteur aérien, qui, si je me souviens bien, concernait le droit du travail à appliquer, je crois comprendre, mais je parle sous le contrôle de Stéphane, que c'était une mesure qui était proposée, mais pas adoptée pour le moment. Non? Alors, d'accord. Alors, je vous passe la parole. J'aimerais que vous veniez expliquer où on en est, ce qu'on sait de la question malgré tout.
Non, salut David. Oui, je ne peux pas ajouter beaucoup là-dessus. Je pense qu'on est en train d'examiner la question. C'est une question qui a évidemment trait qui est liée aux aspects de droit du travail dans le domaine du transport. On est en train de vérifier. On revient sur cette question rapidement.
Voilà. Donc ça, c'est une chose. Et ensuite, sur le bon vacances et le fait qu'il ne puisse pas être utilisé pour Internet, je pense que c'est une question pour Sonia plutôt.
Bonjour David et merci beaucoup pour ta question. On n'est pas forcément au courant de cette chaîne dont tu te réfères, mais ce que je peux te dire est que, comme tu le sais, le secteur du tourisme a été gravement touché par la crise. La Commission soutient les États membres dans leurs efforts à soutenir le secteur. On a adopté pour cette raison aussi le paquet tourisme et transport avec des différentes mesures pour alléger la situation du secteur. Et concernant en fait les schèmes nationaux promotionnels dans le secteur du tourisme, comme les bons avec des avoirs, ça c'est un instrument que les États membres puissent utiliser pour soutenir l'industrie. Mais normalement, quand en fait ces schèmes sont mis en place, ils doivent s'appliquer aussi pour tous les opérateurs dans toute l'Union européenne. Ça veut dire que les prestations doivent pouvoir être faites aussi par des opérateurs, pas seulement dans l'État membre comme l'Italie, mais aussi dans d'autres États membres. Ça veut dire que les citoyens italiens peuvent les utiliser aussi dans d'autres États membres. Et ça, c'est quelque chose qui est très important pour être en ligne avec le droit européen.
Merci Sonia. Alors, je vois que Naomi a demandé la parole. Naomi.
Hello. Yeah, I just had a follow-up on my previous question, just going back to the vaccines again. Is there any clarification then on what exactly Britain's role is in the vaccine scheme, if they are going to be included? Thank you.
No, I think that well, first of all, I would ask you to ask those questions in the press conference with Commissioner Kyriakides will be giving at around 2 p.m. The clarification relates to the fact that the UK will be able to participate in the scheme. That is what is foreseen. It does not imply necessarily a specific role for the UK with regards to other member states. Are there other questions, sorry, for us today? I see a question from Andres. Go ahead, Andres. You need to press the speak button.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Hello, sorry. Yes, I'm Andres Hill from El Diario. I would like to ask you, maybe you have answered in another time, but I didn't pay attention. Some weeks ago, when you presented the mobility package, you said that you were working on some instructions for airlines due to some recommendations by EDCD regarding to how many passengers can go in the planes and so on. I would like to ask you about how is this proposal going? Thank you.
Thanks. Question for Stéphane.
Thank you very much. Yes, when we adopted the transport guidelines in the context of the tourism and transport package, we also announced that the EASA, European Aviation Safety Agency, and the ECDC, the European Centre for Disease Prevention and Control, would adopt a protocol on aviation safety. This has been done in the meantime. You will find these guidelines, this safety protocol on the website of EASA, where it identifies in more detail what are the different protocols to respect before travel, at airports, during travel, and so on. So it contains quite some practical recommendations and guidance for member states, airports, and airline companies. Thank you.
Thank you, Stefan. Are there other questions for us today? Andres, you have a follow-up?
Short one. In these protocols, do they ask to limit the passengers in the planes? Because it was a discussion that we had in some weeks ago. If maybe should be less passengers in the planes and so on. Is this discussion finished?
Thank you. You will see that the guidance and the protocol recommend physical distancing, but physical distancing is only one of the measures that have to be taken into account. If physical distancing is possible, then obviously physical distancing, for instance, in an airplane, is important. However, if for some reasons physical distancing is more complicated, for instance, due to the load of the plane and so on, then other measures have to be considered. The classical hygiene measures, use of masks, and so on. So the protocols explain this in further details. They see the physical distancing as one of the elements that have to be considered to ensure the necessary safety.
Thank you. Thomas, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you. Hi. I've seen that Austria is planning temporary VAT cuts for restaurants and culture. I see it on Reuters to 5% until the end of the year to help this sector to cope with the pandemic. I was wondering whether you have anything to say. Am I right? Maybe I'm wrong, but because VAT, part of the VAT, it's then given to the European Union, is there a need to discuss this with the European Commission? Thank you.
Dan will come back to you on that bilaterally because he needs to check the reports first and he will come back to you bilaterally. Any other questions for us today? I do not see any, so stay tuned for the press conference at 1 with Vice President Šefčovič. Thank you very much. See you Monday.